Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Death Fog Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jabba Jake Lewitt. Welcome you aboard Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. On this show, we normally talk about Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. We've been through the entire Deep Blue Sea franchise, scene by scene. But we also look at Deep Blue scenes as films or scenes in films that are Deep Blue Sea related in some way. And this is the second part of our mini-series, a monthly mini-series, looking at the Hunger Games films. This is The Hunger Games Catching Fire, the most aquatic of the franchise.
Yeah.
And there's a whole friggin' water arena shot in a water park. And it's great, and we love it. So there's a bunch of stuff in this film we're going to talk about. So let's start talking about it. And the bonus, Mark, you worked on this film.
I did. Yeah, this was a turning point for Atlanta production. Like, this was before the big studio stages were built. They weren't quite up yet, but like they were being built. And this one a lot of it was in the Georgia World Congress Center. They shot at like the goat farm. They shot at some mansions around Atlanta before they went to Hawaii. But yeah, it was cool. I got to work in a lot of the Georgia World Congress Center stuff. And I got to see some really cool things and a lot of the CGI crowds. One day I showed up and they gave me about 30 extras who were all dressed up, and I took them to the green screens and then they were filmed. So a lot of the digital crowds we had I worked on that. So if you see somebody cheering, booing, crying, clapping, and the digital things, I got to work on those, like the sprites. So that was pretty neat.
So I'm guessing, so you weren't doing like arena-based stuff. You were more like the districts.
Yeah, because that was smaller, right? They called me up when they had a lot of people. So at this time, I was still doing like 15 Comic-Cons a year. So I couldn't take a full-time set job, but they could bring me in when they had 200 extras, 40 extras, 50 cars. Like that was my thing. Like, hey, Mark, we have 200 extras. Come help us out. Oh yeah, I got you. So yeah, it was cool. I got to show up and do that and take them over with the sprites, and I did a lot more on 3 and 4. But no, it's cool. But you know what though? It was a turning point, man. Like, you know, this movie, I think at the time, there really wasn't anything coming through, because like after this, I would go on to like Goosebumps and The Following and other cool shows. But this was like big. This wasn't just like a Jane Mansfield's Car or a Footloose, which are wonderful, and I'm not hating on them, but yeah, it was pretty cool to have Hunger Games 2 and just gigantic sets and big name actors, and Lawrence had like all the heat on her at the time, so it was just neat.
Just won an Oscar.
Yeah, just won an Oscar,
and that was during the filming of this, just
blowing up. And the first one was such a success, and I was a fan of Constantine, so I thought that was really cool. And yeah, it was a good. I mean, I think this one's probably the most popular Hunger Games too, because like this one made what, $959 million? No, $864 million worldwide, which placed it 5th. And it has a, let's see, 90% tomato meter score, 7.5 on IMDb. Like, this is you know what I think, Jay? It's like the Twilight movies made buku bucks. Just absurd money.
Yeah.
But these first two Hunger Games movies, they were films. Like good, like people are like, oh, YA adaptations can be good or non-pulpy. You know what I mean? Like these can be critically adored and audience adored and just enjoyed, and feature lots of water.
Yeah, and like I said, this is, in my opinion, the best one. It's got the best arena, the best fight. It's just, not just because it's water, but just the whole like clock kind of idea and the different events, the hourly events that occur. I like all of that kind of stuff. And the fact that it's not all like kids who are plucked from obscurity and thrown into the arena. It's like, these are adults. They've been here before. They know what they're a bunch of nutjobs. They've been here, and this kind of thing, it does stuff to you. These are all like 24 PTSD survivors who are like, hey, fight again, which is a terrible situation. It's awful. But it makes for a more entertaining film.
Yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. And like, I love once again that like they had to go to Hawaii for a lot of the beach scenes, but like they really went for really nice locations. Like there's a lot of solid location work, and it's kind of cool. They even found in Atlanta, we had the Olympics, and so there's a lot of there's an old tennis stadium that's all rotted and people like to shoot in there. They found this water park that actually had a circular pool with sand, and we're like, what are the odds of this? And they couldn't shoot till November, so I know everybody was freezing because November in Georgia is not exactly pleasant. But like, yeah, they're like, how long does it take you to empty like a 2 million-gallon water tank? He's like, I don't know, like a couple days. And then they're like, how long does
one plug in the middle?
Where's it all go? And then they're like, how long does it take to fill it back up? So like they built this cool set on like a water park in Atlanta. Like they use a parking structure as like a really cool set, and then inside the Georgia Aquarium, like Georgia World Congress Center, they shot. So like it was just a neat Atlanta movie. But yeah, like there's a lot of wetsuit work in this, Jay. There's a lot of like tridents. There's water fights.
There's like drowning gibbons or baboons in the water.
There's a fight with baboons in a puddle.
Yeah. What more could you want?
Like, the Rundown had a fight with baboons, but they were too cowardly and didn't even put in water. This one had a puddle fight with baboons.
It absolutely, and the whole like Jabba J sequence of like you're trapped in this segment for an hour listening to recordings of your loved ones being tortured is awful. Like terrible. But I don't know do you watch True Detective?
I do, yeah.
So have you seen season 4?
Yeah, I love season 4.
Yeah, so like we've just watched the final episode the day after watching this, and the same thing. There's a guy who has the same thing done to him, where he's forced to listen to the tortured cries of someone
screaming in his ears, and they tape it on him, and they just leave him there and go eat
twice
snacks.
in a row. I had this.
It makes me so happy. But not only does this movie has a lot of talk of water as well. Like they're like, we need to find fresh water. And then they're like, the dehydration isn't helping, right? And then they get a gift sent to them to whack into a tree and drink water.
That's spile.
Spile, yeah. And I don't know, I like that water heals those like horrible pus bubbles.
Boils. Yeah.
And they're like, drink more water. And then there's a underwater baboon fight. PETA kills a guy in water.
Peter's first kill. He killed no one that whole first film.
I think. Can I ask you a question, Jay?
Sure.
Were you waiting for PETA and that guy to sink to the bottom of that pool and have an underwater bar fight like in Top Secret?
That would be great. That would have been exceptional. And I would, it would be a strange thing for the Capitol to put into the arena, this underwater bar. But I would have loved it to have happened. That would have been great.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, I got a top secret surprise for everybody. And
I'm a huge Zucker Abrams Zucker fan. So I had to put this in there.
Like, there's blood rain in this too. Like,
there's
rain that is bloody, and Jack Reacher gets shot with an arrow and falls in the water.
Alan Richardson.
Yeah.
A bunch of people fall in the water. Apparently, in the filming of it, Sam Claflin fell in the water every take. It's like a real Thomas Jane. Filming it.
Yeah, so like he's falling, everyone's falling in the water, and it's just, I don't know, I love it so much. And I don't know, like just the weight that Jennifer Lawrence gives the performance too, and the violence really isn't. What's interesting is the violence isn't really, what's the word? It's not glorified, I would say. It's quite ugly. These movies make violence quite ugly, the first two at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everyone in the arena wants to be there, so it's like not the violence kind of makes sense not to be glorified because like they don't want to be fighting. But I mean, my biggest, it's not really a problem with this film. I get why it doesn't make sense to the story. I just want to see Haymitch in a fight. I want to see Woody Harrelson in the arena, and like this is the closest that we're going to get to it. And like when there's a couple of times in it we're like, what would Haymitch do? Like, well, Haymitch isn't here. Like, why are you reminding me that Haymitch isn't here? I want to see. Like, we all know I don't like Peter that much. I want to see Haymitch in it.
Yeah, if you have Woody Harrelson, put him in combat.
Right. Like especially like we don't. It's not expressed in the film, but apparently in the books he won the second quarter quell, which was like a double. It was 48 kids were put in the arena. So like a double. Like the first quarter quell, the people had to vote on which kids were sent in, which traumatic. Like, hey, pick a 13 to 18-year-old you want to fight to the death. Not pleasant. And then the second one, it was like just double everything. And so the third one is former victors. Which, in the grand scheme of things, when they announced the third quarter quell was going to be like former victors, a lot of people are going to be relieved when that happens. In the grand scheme, like, take a step back.
Yeah.
So many more people are going to like, oh, thank God. Oh, no one, we don't like. Like, yeah,
It's
they
not
won.
me for
Okay,
a
good
year.
for them. Yeah, exactly. Uh, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we don't follow those people. We follow the people that are going back in. And
And
I always want to spend more time with the other victors who like die immediately. I want to see. I want to know how big the pool of victors were in each district, because like there can't be that many in the higher numbers, because we're told in the first film that districts 1 and 2 are like the career districts, and they're the ones like they win all the time. So they must have far more victors in those ones than in other ones, but there's still a male and a female in every other district. So I don't know.
oh yeah, because there's only a couple in 12.
Right? There's
Literally,
literally there's 3.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Peter had won last time around, they would have had no female victor to choose. It's like
Yeah.
if Katniss had been killed, then they could not have done this time. So I'm guessing the games makers like, well, you know, I've checked as to how many victors we have, and we do actually have a male and female. Like, give it a couple of years, we might not. Max is getting up there in age, so we might not. So yeah, so it's convenient this happened to be the 75th and the quarter quell, etc.
Poor Mags.
Poor Max.
You know, so the actress playing her, I'm trying to look. Lynn Cohen. She was like 75, I believe, when they shot it. And there's a scene where Finnick, played by Sam Claflin, has to carry her. And the first time he had to do it, he slipped, fell on his knee, and they both dropped in the freezing water. And everyone was really freaked out about it. And like he wiped out. And I guess, you know, like Jennifer Lawrence was like by ankles, like she said when she had to run on all those rocks.
Oh no.
But yeah, and also, you know, I thought it was pretty interesting that like most of the people who shot there, they said that they just tried to block it out of their memories because the water was so cold. Which, I mean, I guess that's fair. You're in wetsuits all day and you're just freezing. Jenna Malone said she blocked it out of her memory.
Oh, that's never a good thing to read. That's what you have to
And she was in
block out.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah. And Donnie Darko.
Oh, hey.
A better film.
No, but I love that movie. We should do a cult classic Deep Blue Scene series.
Sure. Are there deep blue scenes in Donnie Darko? I don't remember any.
Does he drinks water?
Sure.
Maybe that's it. It's kind of cold.
Okay. Maybe. But
No, that might not be good.
Yeah. So the old man, the one who does the first the Mockingjay salute, is an actor called Leon Lamar. He is still alive and working today, despite being 105.
Yes.
He was in They Cloned Tyrone last year.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great film.
He
was in
they went hard on him, the Peacekeepers.
Yeah, he didn't survive. He died.
No. Yeah.
They shot him in the head.
Yep. That was not pretty. This movie's
not cool.
People die. This is a dark world. You know what's interesting about Snow in this movie? He and Katniss have a very interesting relationship. Like, he knows she's good. Like, he knows what she's like. They don't underestimate each other. Like, he's not like stupid child. Like, he kind of has a respect for her. They have a very interesting relationship in this film. And like her relationship with Hamish in this movie is interesting as well. It's far more interesting than one with Peeta or with the Hemsworth.
Gale.
Yeah, Gale. He's such a butt in this movie, man, isn't he?
I mean, he doesn't get any better. He gets significantly worse in later films.
It's like he's a gigantic. Like, he's like, ugh, you won, but like you have to play this role, or you'll probably die. But ugh, like I have to coal mine, sadly.
I get why he's annoyed. This is like his, essentially his girlfriend who now has to. Like is forced at pain of her death and the death of everyone she knows to pretend to be in love with someone else. It sucks for everyone. But at least she's in a nice house and he's got a coal mine. So I do kind of feel sorry for him. But no one here is in a good situation.
He's so mopey though about it.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, she's cool with you, man, but like she's in a terrible situation and you're not going to change it. Like, go eat some rain bread. Go eat some of Peter's famous rain bread.
Oh,
So what are your favorite?
He's not making it anymore though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He's still making it.
Yeah. Apparently in the books they're encouraged to like take up a hobby, because they've got to work anymore, and so maybe Peter's hobby is like he's just decorating cakes for himself now and making rainbow for himself now, or I don't know. And like Katniss doesn't want to, so she's like Cinna gives her some outfits to pretend that she's designed. Which I haven't read the books, but like Cinna, when they kill Cinna, when she's going up in the tube to like, you kind of don't get to enjoy the spectacle of the water arena to start with, because you're reeling from Cinna being beaten to death in front of her and dragged away, which an incredible move by Snow. Excellent thing to do from his perspective. Like, I want to kill this girl. So how do I kill her? We kill like one of her best friends in front of her before she goes into a fight to the death. That's gonna like traumatize her drastically. Maybe that spurs her on though, but just tactically, excellent move from him.
That's the problem with Katniss. It's hard to get in her head. She's pretty she's pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anything you do might backfire.
I mean, I don't think there's a way of taking her down.
Like, what? Catapults.
Sure. Katniss bolt. Yeah.
Secret ones though, just like.
Yeah.
Like put it when she's out there trying to shoot deer. Just put catapults in the forest, and she's in like she's already in a place she shouldn't be. Imagine that one day, like Peter's just making rain bread in the background. You see just Katniss like a quarter mile in the air.
So you're catapulting her. You're not catapulting something at her.
I mean that's like just like okay. Wait, where is she? At her house? Are we trying to catapult her house?
If she's hunting deer, you can like set some deer up and she's hunting them, and you know where she's going to be, and you do like fling something at her from the side. But I do like the idea of a Katniss bolt, where she just she stands on something and just
just looking like she's doing cartwheels in the air, a quarter mile up there. I mean, occasionally they'll shoot some deer accidentally or a squirrel, but it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Snow's like, watch this footage.
Here's your Mockingjay. Not much now, is she? Yes. Watch her fly.
She like lands on a giant rain bread and survives. And he's like, no! Foiled again.
Oh man, Katniss.
Like Peter's just really bored, and he makes just like the world's largest rain bread. She just like
a rain bread bouncy castle.
What would happen if that was in this movie? And like they play it totally straight, like everything else in this film.
Like he makes it in the arena as part of he knows it's part of Beatty's plan to blow everything up, and he's like, oh, integral part of this, I need to make a rain bread bouncy castle, life size, out of what I have with me. So yeah, like one of those we don't know what happens in every segment. One of those segments, it rains yeast, or the sand turns into yeast, and
they send him bread. The rich people of the place send him bread.
People love Peter. It's the people send him stuff. Yeah.
So they send him rain bread ingredients.
They send him an oven or a kiln or something.
He's just out there
approving drawer.
He's just out there baking. And I want to say, the thing about water in this scene, like I love that it heals their gross pus bubbles, but then I also love that they're immediately attacked by baboons. Like there's no time for Katniss in this movie whatsoever.
They're going the wrong way round the circle. They should go anti-clockwise. Then they've got hours to wait for the next thing. You go anti-clockwise one, and you just keep moving around one at a time.
Like blood rain doesn't sound terrible, all things considered.
Well, they say that it's like it's in their eyes, it's in their mouths. They can't see, they can't breathe. It's like a lot of it. But it's I think they're all fine if you're in the center. The whole point is it's trying to make everyone like come to the middle and fight each other and stay there. That's the safe spot.
Interesting.
Like no. I want to know what happens in the other segments that we don't know. I feel like it's a 2.5 hour film. They can at least tell us like, oh, there's like the earthquake thing, or like there's this giant
Legos.
boulder. Yeah, the floor turned into Lego.
Peter builds like a fort.
He builds it at 11.
Katniss has like a house, and they just live there.
She's gonna live here now.
That was a bad idea on the Legos, boss. She's made a C-3PO. Like Jack Reacher tries to like get in there, and he builds like a mini Lego catapult, and there's like siege engines.
Why didn't you just punch it? You're so strong, but why you just hit it? It's plastic bricks.
Well, he's not Reacher yet.
Come on, Gloss. I mean, he's still a big guy. He can still. I have faith that even then he could rip apart a Lego house.
Yeah, I mean, he's still tall. He's still a big dude back then, I guess. Like, I want a Lego battering ram.
Sure.
Imagine that.
That seems doable.
Just where do we get like, man, like, oh great, now we just they're building in like no more Lego. Send Tinker with blocks and like Tinker toys down there.
So would that be the games master has screwed up again? We're gonna go into this room which is a bowl of Lego bricks, and they lock the door. You know what you did.
Wait, what am I supposed to do? You just hear, ah, ooh, ah. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, you just gotta what you gotta do. Take your socks off. Put your feet in the bowl, and then you lay back out of the room.
An hour later, we just see him limping somewhere. Yeah.
You've learned a powerful lesson today.
Not the Lego. How do you feel about the action on this scene? Because they had Chad Stahelski back. They had Sam Hargrave, who went on to Extraction. They had the same action people there. Like, what do you think about the action in this one?
I feel like there was less of it than the first time around. I mean, you have that opening, like I can't remember the cornucopia, when like they will swim to the middle. She actually goes to the middle this time because she wants the bow, and that whole fighting sequence there is pretty cool. And then when they go back later, when they spin it, that's like the two big fighting action scenes. So it's all very well done. And then there's the training when they're like showing their skills, and she's doing the archery with there's like hologram people trying to attack her, which it's a decent sequence. There was enough, I think, but given this is a film about 24 people killing each other, I thought there would be more. But then I feel like the arena's trying to kill them more this time around than each other.
And like, the first film they had the gas and the flames trying to kill her. This time they have the gas or the flames trying to kill her. This time they have the gas, and there's more water action, and like they probably didn't want to recreate everything that they had done.
Yeah.
So like, I like the demon baboons, and watching it, it's kind of funny watching it behind the scenes because there were none of them. And for the majority of the film, Katniss never even shoots an arrow. It's all CGI. It's like watching behind the scenes of Jennifer Lawrence have to fully pretend like she's pulling an arrow out, pull it, and then shoot nothing while they're acting. That's the movie I want, Jay, in a puddle.
Just the making of.
Yeah. Because they did day for night on this movie. Like they went into the jungle and just shot day for night because it's easier to shoot day in the jungle than night, and it's already hard in the jungle. So, but there's a couple really beautiful shots though. Remember when the one who can what do they call themselves? The one who dies trying to protect Peeta.
The Morphlings.
The Morphling. When she's dying and they're sitting in the water and like the sun's either rising or setting. In Hawaii.
He's just saying, look at this, because he said earlier in the film that his favorite color is orange, like sunset orange, and so like he like points that out to her when she's dying. Yeah, like look at this guy. Don't think of anything else. Just look at the colors, kind of thing.
And she saved him.
Yeah,
it's a bummer. And like
they shot this movie.
They shot this movie on film on IMAX cameras, like the way they did Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
It's like Hoyt Van Hoytema had that huge IMAX camera on his shoulder. Joe Williams did that in this one. So like
it's just arena. It's the arena stuff is IMAX, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like this. I love this guy's stuff. He shot 30 Days a Night. He shot David Slade's movie. He shot Hard Candy. Then he went on and did Limitless, and then he shot these, and he moved on like Red Sparrow and like he shot Songbirds and Snakes. Like this guy knows what's up. The person who shot this.
Yeah, it looks great.
I think a lot of it's just the nice on location work. Like even the stuff that they did in Atlanta on that big pool, like at least they found a pool to do it on, not just a indoor tank.
Yeah, it's not all like CGI water. They're actually in the water. Like, did you hear that? I mean, I haven't seen Naiad. You have seen Naiad, but like
Yeah.
the water in Naiad is CGI.
What?
Because it like Annette Bening did lots of swimming, but the water just didn't look right on film, so they had to re-CGI the water over the top of that.
Oh, is that why it won all the VFX awards?
I think so.
Oh.
Films could be made so much more cheaper than they are.
Man, she's really good in that movie, and so is Jodie Foster. I like them a lot. That's a lot of water right there, Jay.
Yeah, it doesn't. The film didn't sound that appealing. I'm sure they're great in it, but it just, sport biopic kind of things.
Swimming.
Yeah.
There's a movie out. It's a romance film. It's called Float, and it's about a guy giving a woman swimming lessons that I think we should cover one day.
I'll put it on the list.
Right. And what about Night Swim?
It's on the list.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet.
But, I don't know. This movie just has... and also, too, I think the camera work is really great, too, because there's very few wide shots. Like, when they're on the characters, they're up in their faces. Like, it's very intimate. It's very tight. I think the VFX is actually excellent. And I love when the island starts spinning. They actually built a 50-foot, like, circular, long rig, and they just spun it.
Oh, wow.
And they had the crew up on top filming it. You should see it, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff. Like, they built a 50-foot rig, put on a big old gimbal, and just spun it around. It's like, I dig that. The first one made a lot of money, so I think Francis Lawrence just had the cash to do it. But it's kind of fun that they put him on something and spun it. Like, it's kind of cool that they built that set at the park. Like, I know it's obvious that movie shot on location. Denis Villeneuve does that all the time. But I think a lot of these movies don't do that nowadays. So it's fun that they actually took care to go to Hawaii and make this legitimate.
Yeah, like for this this is like it's like a popcorn film, like for teens. Like you could see somebody come out and go, we'll CGI this. It doesn't, like, who cares? But they didn't. They actually, they took the time. They went places. They found the locations, and it looks great because of it.
Yeah, you just said that so much more succinctly than I could have. Because they could have made this very cheap, right? And then all of a sudden it just looks good. And Jennifer Lawrence, like, her performance in this is just almost too good for this type of movie.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why they did more close-ups this time around, because like they knew that they had like proper actors. Like the first time around, they had a lot of younger actors who maybe were less experienced. This time around, you got the three kind of carried over younger actors, and then a bunch of the Jeffrey Wrights and the Amanda Plumbers of the world.
Yeah. And like Jenna Malone's pretty awesome in this movie too.
Fantastic.
Right? Like she sort of popped on screen. I'm not saying because of like the undressing, but like in the elevator, like the confidence there. And then later when she's covered in blood, she worked out for months with the stunt crew to get in shape. And like she took her side role. Like, what I think is interesting is I think she, in the behind the scenes interviews, Jenna Malone talked about how important this character was and how important it was for her to get her right. So you have a side character who probably doesn't have that much screen time, but the actor playing the character took it really seriously. And that's cool. Like this movie, I think everyone was really on like top form working on this. But yeah, Jeffrey Wright just pops up and he's incredible.
I love Jeffrey Wright. And I really like Sam Claflin as Finnick. Finnick is like a very irritating character. I feel like if I knew him, I wouldn't want to be friends with him. The same with Joanna. I feel like they'd be like awful people to hang out with. But this was the first time I'd seen Sam Claflin in anything, and I've always since this I've always been like not seeking out if he did something. I'll watch it. Sam Claflin I think is great.
Yeah.
He's just very charismatic. He's perfect for play Finnick. He's such a twat. But he's
And I'm actually ready for more kind of character actor Claflin, like in Last Night in Soho. Like I think he has that edge. That
he's not in that enough.
Yeah, like he has a good edge in that movie. And in this one, there's two really good scenes where she points the arrow at him in the middle of like the island, and then also at the end when she pulls the arrow on him, when he's just kind of like looks at her. Like there's a lot of he's very charming in those just few moments of screen time. And I remember, you're right. You know what's funny? I don't think I'd seen him prior to this movie. And then I saw him and I'm like, I like this guy. He doesn't feel generic or whatever. I was like, he just kind of pops immediately on screen.
He'd been in a handful of things before, and he was in Snow White and the Huntsman the year before.
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
never liked it, and he was in that Pirates movie.
yes, we don't talk about that.
But I
He was
blocked
in
that
that.
out of my memory.
Everyone should. But I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for just being genuinely great in most things. Yeah.
Well, he keeps working. I looked at his IMDb. Dude stays busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Job's
it's
hard.
neat. I'm like, just I don't know, Francis Lawrence. I don't know. There's something about Francis Lawrence movies where, Constantine, I love a lot. Like, I think it's one of the best looking superhero films ever made, or comic book adaptations ever made. And I think he just made some very smart decisions in this movie, like the close ups, like I don't know, like the casting, and I think when he got involved, he added a little bit of pedigree to the movie as well. So I'm like, oh crap, like this guy's good, and we got Jennifer Lawrence. Like he brought in Jeffrey Wright, Francis did. So I don't know. I think it's awesome. I don't know.
I haven't seen Constantine. That's just one of those films that people
Oh
love. They
wow.
just missed me. So I need to
Yeah,
correct that.
it's like top 5 superhero films of all time for me.
Nice. I will check it
Gorgeous looking. Yeah, gorgeous looking movie. Well, like what's your favorite water scene in this movie?
out. Favorite water
The tree
scene in this
drinking,
movie?
tree water drinking.
I really like the gibbon fight. In the puddle, fighting the gibbons in the puddle, and I think it's just that opening, like they come out and it's like a surprise big water arena, and it just the spectacle of it all, just like looking around thinking, oh, it's a giant water circle, and there's the thing, it's that moment of coming out and there's everything, and it's just because as he's going up, it's probably like like a desert environment. You think, oh, this is gonna be terrible, but then it's a big water park, and that's just a real cool moment. What about you? What's your favorite water scene?
Oh gosh. I mean, I just love how everyone's like, we need water. We're dehydrated. We need water. It just stresses the importance of, not many movies do this. Like, I watch
BBC
Extraction.
doesn't
Like,
do this.
I watch Extraction. I'm like, this guy's dehydrated. Like, he couldn't move right now.
Yeah.
Like, technically speaking, he shouldn't. His body would just seize up. So this one, they're like, oh, that's the dehydration speaking. Like, oh, we need water.
Deep Blue Sea, you have, Preacher drinking some cooking sherry.
Yep.
But after the explosion and everything, and they're all trapped. And then you have when they all reconvene, and he's throwing a bag of power bars and throws them away. He's like, even in Death Standards, like that no one eats. But Jim gets attacked very early on in the day, and they're still going at 4 a.m. I think they go into like sunrise. That's
all
a
salt
solid
water in
day.
there.
They would need to drink something and eat something.
You're
You can't
right.
just go on adrenaline for that long.
Well, do you think when they were taking a break and they kind of go to just different areas, they do quick couple chugs?
I think they would have had to. Like when they were looking through people's rooms for batteries, they would have found some snacks. I hope.
I feel like this is one of the rare movies where water's important, and that makes me happy.
Good.
She's dehydrated. We need to get Amanda Plummer water. Yes. That's what I know. That's really random, but there's a lot of references. Like, we need fresh water, and then he spends a spile and he puts the water in the tree, and then they cure their gross pus blisters, and then they drink more water later on.
Yeah.
Like, we got to get to the beach.
It's like a warm environment as well. It's like hot. So yeah. Yeah,
Hydration
eating
is
raw
key.
fish. Ugh, just catch a fish and eat it raw. No, thank you.
Really? You wouldn't do it?
I mean, I've had sushi. I mean, if I had to, I would. But I don't want to. I think I would have made a little fire and cooked that thing, perhaps. In the arena, I'd always be concerned. Like, is this some kind of a tricked fish that they've poisoned with something? I'd always be concerned about just what lengths the Capitol are going to kill everyone in that arena.
Yeah, I hate trick fish.
Yeah,
Trick fish.
No one likes a trick fish. A red herring.
That's a good point. You know what I'll do? Like, eat this, Jay.
Oh no! What have you
I
done to
cooked
it?
It's safe.
Honestly, you can trust me. I don't want to kill you.
You have a
Yet.
Princess Bride situation where you switch the fish on me.
I developed immunity to iocane fish years ago.
Well, aren't blowfish poisonous. You're like, don't eat it. They poisoned it. I'm like, no, that's a blowfish.
It's fine. It's like it's only one little bit that's poisonous. The rest of it's fine. Like, just say the opposite. People that eat blowfish are insane.
Living on the edge, Jay.
Why?
What?
Just like I get like extreme sport, fine. Extreme eating, I don't know. Yeah. Whatever people want to do, fine. I guess.
Man, I feel like running around in a wetsuit for 20 months on end wouldn't be fun. I'm not a wetsuiter. I don't like wetsuits.
Same. Like, even for the characters who have to do this for like a few days, I think it's during the third day, I think, is when it all kind of ends. It would be bad enough, but yeah, in for months, ugh, no thank you.
So I have the movie playing in my office, and there's a scene where Jenna Malone just brings a coconut full of water to Katniss.
Yeah.
This is responsible hydration, Jay.
Yeah, they're all doing a good job.
Good job, Jenna.
Well done, everyone. Yeah. I like when we first see Stanley Tucci in this, that all you can see is his teeth. He reminded me of a shark. Like, he's just like he's coming like teeth first. He's so great in these films.
Your cooch is like a shark fin. What do you think?
Yeah, my teeth are like a shark. Mouth.
No, tooch.
Oh, my tooth. Okay. Yeah, of course. My tooch is like a shark's fin. Of course.
Deepest, bluest. You know what's funny too? Like, this set had like a jellyfish infestation at times. And like I don't know. I love that they were on location and they had jellyfish.
The water park had a jellyfish infestation?
No, Hawaii.
Oh, okay, right, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
How did they get into it's like a Piranha 3DD scenario.
That'd be insane.
Jellyfish come up the drains.
Man, they almost got naiaded. They get jellyfished. Or they almost got the shallowed.
Yes, yeah. Or there's a jellyfish open water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you had some peanut butter and some bread, if you had some pita rain bread and some peanut butter, would you make a jellyfish peanut butter and rain bread sandwich?
I wouldn't, but mainly because I hate peanut butter.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand it. It's my least favorite food.
I could exist on peanut butter.
I couldn't.
Not the crunchy stuff though. I don't see a point to that. It's like we're lazy, so we did half.
I once at an ice cream parlor, and my friend had an ice cream, and didn't want to finish it, and so I took it to finish it, and thought it was vanilla, and it was peanut butter ice cream, and it still haunts me a decade later that I had just had a mouthful of peanut butter ice cream. It's disgusting. I hated it. Ugh.
A little behind the scenes fun. Sometimes Jay will just look to the side and go, peanut butter.
I edit all that out every time. So many times an episode.
Is there any movie that heavily features peanut butter?
The Peanut Butter Falcon. I think it's
yeah. Yeah, no need to go on. That's a good. There's a lot of water scenes in that one too.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
Oh man.
There must be others.
This is a good movie, Jay.
This is it's the best. I mean, I still haven't seen Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but this is the best of the original four. I would say, and like there's a lot more. There's other little Deep Blue Sea adjacent kind of nods in it. Like there's BT's plan to electrocute people. He killed people with electrocution. Then there's a body that gets kind of picked up on a gurney out of the water, and then Katniss has the same thing. And there's a shot of her face as she's been lifted up in a gurney. It's the same as Stellan Skarsgård in Deep Blue Sea, like just that of his face as he's being lifted up.
Whoa!
It was like very like Deep Blue Sea shot. And there's when Katniss is dancing with Philip Seymour Hoffman, which Philip Seymour Hoffman haven't mentioned him yet. Plutarch Heavensby, like
oh my gosh,
the best. When they're dancing, he's like he wants to make the games mean something, and Katniss like they don't mean anything yet. It kind of reminded me of the whole like death is always pointless kind of line of Preacher to Susan, like she's going after the numbers because without like the death is meaningless and death is always pointless, that kind of thing. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but yes, I found some other Deep Blue Sea adjacent stuff in this Hunger Games film that is very not Deep Blue Sea adjacent.
But yeah, they're both Oh, I like your. They are the same shots. That'd be funny if the crane dropped with her in it on just the forest.
And there's actually sharks in there. That would suck if they get out and they dive
Whoa!
into the water and then there's sharks.
And they
Like,
have to fight him in an underwater bar fight.
yeah, absolutely.
You know
How
what?
would you
I
fight
came
a
to a
shark in a
realization the
bar
other day,
fight?
Jay. I came to a pretty interesting thing. My favorite bar fight is in Top Secret and it's underwater. My favorite kitchen fight's in Deep Blue Sea and it's partially submerged.
Yep.
My favorite bathroom fight is in Crawl, and that takes
Sure.
place in a flooded bathroom. So just add water,
Yeah.
and it's probably my favorite.
It's Mark Myers' one rule of filmmaking: just add water.
Well, you can't have sea beasts without water.
You can't. Well, if you can, they don't last very long. So you should
You know what?
have water with sea beasts.
If a whale, like, I don't know, if a giant megalodon just dropped from the sky and say, like, I don't know, what's a good movie that a megalodon, like the Beekeeper, while he's killing people, if a megalodon just squashes on the ground, like, I guess technically I would have to add it to my sea creature list.
Yeah, we have to cover it.
Gotta protect the hive.
I'm
I'm the beekeeper.
That hits streaming here on Friday, and I'm looking forward to watching that on Friday.
I just bought it. I bought it for $20. I hadn't seen it. I was like, this movie looks great. And it's the Beekeeper.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know what makes me happy is the Beekeeper $40 million makes $150 million. Anyone But You $40 million makes $200 million. Like, I'm not saying, it's the return of $40 million movies, but that makes me happy. Like, I like when like not everything needs to be 300 million. Not everything needs to be 250 million. And I understand that, that's what keeps theaters alive, but it's fun watching $40 million movies succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
I think it gives hope.
Yeah, and like even smaller budgets. I mean, I keep going back to the Evil Dead films. Like how cheap, how ridiculously cheap those Sam Raimi films were made for.
Yeah.
You just can't do that nowadays. Like, as soon as you get a studio involved, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they
bring back the $40 million.
They tried to
the
kill
Shallows
Bruce Campbell.
Probably cost 40 million, right?
I mean, maybe even less. I'm gonna...
Sorry about that. I love watching Bruce Campbell get beat up in puddles.
Yeah. Sam Raimi actively tried to kill him every time they worked together. The Shallows 17 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that made 119. But yeah, and Bruce Campbell's book, If Chins Could Kill, is excellent as well. I nearly died doing this, and I was dragged along doing this bit, and this bit.
You see that stick hitting me? That's Sam throwing that stick at me. Or,
he didn't need
Sam
to,
Raimi,
but he did. He just wanted to.
Oh, man. I've read all of his books. I read Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way. I've read that one.
I haven't read it yet, but it is right next to me.
I feel like that's what I would do to every movie. He gets a part on an A-list movie and just turns it into like a B movie.
Sure.
I feel like that's what I do to every podcast. I want to go on NPR one time and just turn into chaos where everyone's just like lighting fires and singing about the Shallows.
Yeah, it is. Always, like whenever I listen to one of my regular podcasts and you crop up on it, I'm like, hey, great, Mark's on here. I just listened to you talk about the Predator. Too Fast, Too Forever.
Breaking arms, snapping arms. That was a good time on that one.
I had a good time listening.
I like those guys. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, Jay, we're number 1 in Hong Kong right now.
Hey, excellent.
Number 6 overall on TV and film.
Oh, that's incredible. Listeners in Hong Kong, thank you. Welcome. Enjoy the show. Stay, please.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
Rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes, do that. We never ask anyone to do that, so please do that.
Yeah, we don't do that, do we? I never do that for any of my shows, and I don't add too many ads. We don't go heavy on ads either, which probably costs us money.
I was going to say, we don't get heavy on ads, and therefore we don't make any money.
Listen, Jay, if you want me to chuck them in the middle of these ads, I will.
It's fine. Let's see how we go. But I mean, I think you sent me a link to Jennifer Lawrence loved the swimming in this, and that made me think. Did you reckon the swimming scene in Passengers was something that she added to the film, like the space film where she at the swimming pool and the gravity gets turned off and she's just stuck swimming? a sequence I hate. Just thinking about that scene.
I mean, yeah, probably, because she said she likes just being able to pee in the water.
Yes, she did.
Like, hey, I gotta pee. I'm gonna go walk in the water.
That made me laugh.
Here's the thing, though. They're in Hawaii. They're in the jungle. You probably have a really gross porta potty there. You might have a trailer, but just walk in the water.
Yeah,
it's the ocean.
Yeah, just the fish do it. Why don't you?
Yeah. You're legitimately doing nothing to the ocean by doing that.
It's the circle of life. You're warming it up slightly.
That's true. I guess if everyone went into the ocean and peed in it, there'd be trouble.
Let's find out.
Does everyone does it?
Everyone now, wherever you are, listeners, head to the ocean and pee.
The Deep Blue Sea podcast caused chaos today.
Dozens of people worldwide urinated in the sea.
And real quick, Jay, in Gambia, we have 3 of the top 4 spots of film history, movies, films, and flicks, with Con Air, Deep Blue Sea, and MFF. 3 of the top 4.
That's impressive. Excellent.
Well, it makes me happy.
Yeah. I'm very happy about that too. People of Gambia, go to the sea, urinate. You have
start a revolution. Yeah, get everyone peeing.
I think there's a river going right the way through Gambia. Like everyone in Gambia is close to it. Go, listeners, go.
Would we get arrested?
Sure.
That'd be an insane story. Do you plead guilty?
I mean, it's recorded. It's hard to say we didn't do this because it's recorded that we did this, yeah. But also this isn't entirely on us.
I'm gonna be entirely. I never thought 7 billion people would do this.
I mean, I'm guilty. I'm impressed. I'll take the credit. Yeah, sure. This is incredibly influencing.
I mean, seriously, what we had the entire world.
We had people in landlocked countries heading to the ocean, like people in Austria, people in Chad, people in Belarus.
Florida was overrun.
I mean, England, fine. England, you're never that far away from the coast. You can get there in a few hours.
Yeah, and I mean rivers too count because they all lead eventually.
Then you're fine. If you're in Canada, you're fine. There's lakes everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Lake Michigan's gonna Huron's in trouble.
Yellow. Let's end this podcast.
See, that's my problem, Jay. I'll pursue anything. If any conversation topic that comes up, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that. It's dangerous.
Okay, well, on that note, I think that'll do it for the Hunger Games Catching Fire. We'll see how much urinating we discuss in Mockingjay Parts 1 and 2 in
probably more on 1.
Maybe.
Not 2. You don't want to hear our 2 episode.
I mean, we'll get there. But no. Good. Look, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, just movies, films, and flicks. Oh, I did a cool thing on fandom about Oscars and women in the Oscars. I did a Spider-Man villains thing. I figured all the CO2 and the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, there it is.
Excellent. And lifeversusfilm.com is my site. You can follow this podcast on all social media at Deep Blue Sea Pod, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. If you urinated in the ocean, let us know. Don't send pictures, just let us know. And if there's other films that you want us to tell your friends. Get everyone, make it a family outing. If there's any films you want us to talk about, let us know on deepblueseapod@gmail.com. Next week, we're talking about The Last Shark, 1981. Jaws ripoff. Kevin Culp, our resident bad shark movie expert, is back to help us talk about The Last Shark next week. For Hunger Games Catching Fire, I've been Jake Lewis.
I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
We'll Deep Blue see you next week.
Sayonara.